Welcome to Escuela del Sur. We are here with an incredible coach from Atlanta, USA, and Guatemala, Gerson Ramirez. Welcome.
Thank you, Emilio. It's always a pleasure having the opportunity to share with you and be part of your projects.
Finally in English, after we have this interview in Spanish. So all the Latin community here, all interview in Spanish, and now we are speaking in English.
Yes, I'm excited, looking forward to see what we can share and how we can all learn together.
So I loved your t-shirt, man. It's amazing.
Yes, so
It was
I
in your
love
country.
Guatemala. Yes, it is Guatemala. This is one of the latest jerseys they are wearing for the soccer national team. I'm a passionate fan, so yes.
And this, you're my friend, but I will tell you football.
Yes, football. That's right, football. You're right.
US, more with
yes.
Messi now. It's like football.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I am a passionate football fan and grew up playing in my neighborhood. So of course, it's my favorite sport.
Yeah, I really want one of these t-shirts, man. I really love
Oh
it.
yeah,
Also,
we're
your
gonna make it
hat.
happen. Yes, I have the hat. This is actually for my daughter. She loves it. It's her favorite hat.
Wow, probably I need to go there
Yeah.
for find one, huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, Gerson, so many people hear your interview in Spanish. Also, one of the coaches going to Olympic Games like a judge, Arturo Padilla. We sent a greetings to him.
Yes.
A few days ago, we published this interview with him. We will do it also in English with him. So yes, we will have a lot to talk today. Please, for all the listeners, who you are, what is your background?
Okay, so my name is Gerson Ramirez. I am Guatemalan. Born and raised in the capital city of Guatemala. Um, I am the third of 8 kids in my family. Grew up in Guatemala, as I said, and fell in love with gymnastics and wasn't able to practice gymnastics, but I became a gymnastics coach right after getting out of the physical education career. So that's who I am.
What was your beginning in gymnastics? What club you start to work?
Okay, so first of all, I started working as physical education teacher. My idea was to be a gymnast while I was in the physical education school. Um, I was about 17, almost 18, when a gymnastics coach from the National Federation came and gave us a clinic as a part of our curriculum. And I came excited and I said, hey, listen, I want to become a gymnast. And he was very polite. Now I know, yes, he was very polite and very nice. And he's like, well, I believe that at this time is not the best time. Probably you will not have the best possibilities to become a gymnast. However, if you love gymnastics, as you say, it'll be a good idea that you become a gymnastics coach. So I had a friend of mine from the PE school that was coaching at a summer camp or gymnastics camp at Gimnasio Internacional back in the day. And he said, hey, Gerson, we need an extra coach. Would you like to come and be part of it? So that's how I started. And that was back in October 1992.
How long are you a coach? So how many years
So,
experience?
yeah, I think I've been coaching for about 31, almost 31. Well, no, actually 31 years. Yeah, I've been coaching 31 years. Like I said, everything started as a summer camp. And then after that, I really fell in love and I with the sport even more than I did when I was just a kid. And I started my journey and my story in that way.
In the beginning, you look in some classes, you work in some hours, that later you, just for motivation, you was sitting on the side of the gym for look how the
Yes.
other coaches teach.
Yeah. So what happened is when I started, I didn't, without a doubt, I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the knowledge. I had nothing to do with gymnastics prior to that experience I had. So when I was hired to come and do classes, I started coaching 3 days a week, 3 hours every day. So it wasn't enough for me to do what I was doing, and I wanted it more. So what I started doing, it was, let's say I came Monday from 2:30 to 5:30. I would stay after my schedule without getting paid. Um, I would stay and watch the competitive team practices, because I started as a rec coach. I would just do rec classes and just beginner and nothing really too technical, so to speak. So I chose to stay, and I would go almost, I can tell you, for a year or maybe a little bit over a year, almost every day after my work was done, I would go from group to group. They had the, what is the compulsory groups, or the pre-team groups, the compulsory groups, and the optional groups. So what I would do is, I would go from group to group, and I would watch what the coaches were doing. And if there was something that I couldn't understand, or that it didn't make sense to me, or it was too advanced for me, I would walk to that coach and say, if you don't mind, what is this skill that you're teaching? Why are you teaching it that way? And they would explain me. Everybody was very open to help me. And also, I would look the way that they spot. Some of they spot, some of they didn't spot, because not all the skills need to be spotted. So I would say, okay, how are you putting your hands, and why are you putting your hands there, and what is what you are looking for? And they will be very open. One of my first mentors, and that I'm very grateful to, his name is Edgar Asturias. He is still coaching in Guatemala. So he was one of the coaches that was more open and always available to share with me his experiences and what he was doing, and why was he doing it. Eventually, like I said, everybody would help me and share with me. There were other coaches, but I um, I am very grateful for all of those that helped me at the beginning. And like I said, I would stay if I finished my job at 5:30. I would stay from 5:30 all the way to 8:30, 3 extra hours. I would stay for 9 extra hours, not expecting to be paid for. Um, and that's what it was. That's how I started. And that's how I started growing and gaining more experience and more knowledge. And I am very grateful for those years. Yes.
So in this moment, you didn't have the language. The English was all in Spanish. Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it was back in Guatemala. So I coached in Guatemala for about 10 years. Uh, Growing up, the school that I went to, they would have, it was a bilingual school. Obviously, it wasn't like really advanced, but it had, your basic language, the to be verbs, and little things here and there. But yeah, no, not English at that time. I was coaching in Guatemala, like I said, in the international uh, gymnastics, Gimnasio Internacional back in the day. I worked there for about 10 years. The gym got bought by some Cuban family, and I coached there for probably a year or two. Then I decided to go a different way. I came to the United States and visit my mom. But actually, before that, yeah, I came to visit my mom. Then I went back home and started coaching at the national federation. And while being at the national federation, I was helping with the lower levels. I had my compulsory levels, and I have a group of optionals. But then I was also part of what it could be described as a pre-national team, or as a tops group with another friend of mine, Carla Bonilla, and that it was under the supervision of first the Russian coach Sergey Yamidov, and then under the supervision of the Romanian coaches, the Boboks. So I was there for a couple of years. Then after that, I went to another gym to start a new program, a new gym, and a new competitive program. While being in that program, I came to the United States, and I I needed more. I needed to grow. I needed to. I I felt like I had hit uh, um, a stop in my career. So I came on vacation to visit my mom. I have a friend of mine that lives here in Atlanta, and he said, "Hey, Gerson, there is an opportunity for you to come over here. If you wanna come, you are welcome. You can try out and see the gym and all that stuff." So I went. I wasn't convinced, to be honest with you. I was afraid. I didn't see myself having the experience. And to be honest with you, I always was a man that he was a little skeptical, or a little afraid of making changes. I like routine. I like stability. I like process. And so I felt a little insecure. But then anyway, so I went to visit my mom. On my way back, I changed my flight. I decided to do and stop here in Atlanta and visit my friend and his family. I went to the Gymnastics Academy of Atlanta, and then right there I try out for like 2 or 3 days. And I sat down, I talked with the owners. They liked what they saw. I don't know if they were convinced 100%. I wasn't convinced 100%. Again, my English, I still felt a little bit like, wow, this is a huge program. They had some Russian coaches and some American coaches, and I was like, okay. But my friend Jacobo Giron, he's Guatemalan. We coached together back in Guatemala for 6, 8 years, and he was like, Gerson, don't feel intimidated, don't feel insecure. Do what you can do, the best way you can do it, and everything will work out. So the day I decided to go back to Guatemala, I went to the airport, and for some reason, the the airport workers were on a strike. They were on a strike, and they were not working. So there was no people working the control towers. There weren't flights coming in or going out, and that took like 4 or 5 days. So when I was at the airport, I said, I'm going to Guatemala. The front desk lady says, I'm sorry, you cannot fly because of this and that. So I stayed for about 3 or 4 more days. That was the key time for me to stay here in Atlanta, because then I was able to say, okay, this is out of my control now, and I will do the best that I can while I'm here. Long story short, that was 18, almost 19 years ago, and here I am now. But that's how everything happened. It was like, first I was insecure, and then once I was here, there was an uncontrollable, or an event that it was out of my control, out of my hands, or anybody's hands, to be honest with you. And that was what happened. And I mean, here I am, 19 years after, thriving.
We want to make a special announcement. We have a new sponsor from FVQ's 3D Gym, an app developed from Wales and France, where you can find 3 apps: 3D Gym Woman, 3D Gym Men, and Trampoline. All information is available on Instagram and also on the website fvcubes.com. We also want to thank eGymnastics from Germany by Flavio Bessi, where you can find all the information about their new educational platform learning gymnastic courses for all the coaches around the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's very interesting how this situation may change your life.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We changed it completely because, again, I mean, I was single. I didn't have much responsibilities. I actually would be coaching or teaching as a PE teacher in 3 private schools. One was Colegio El Manantial, Las Abejitas, and Universidad Infantil. Besides, and also on the side, I was coaching full time in the extreme gymnastics. So it was life changing. Yeah, absolutely.
For me, understand what you say in English is totally different for what we hear in Spanish. It's different.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is different. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking how you explain about this fear. You explained something in Spanish you didn't say is what happened with the coach when he's traveling to a new adventure, a
Yes.
gymnastic coach. So you didn't
Yes.
was expecting I want to live in US. You was like I'm going there and I will be back.
Yes. No, and that's the thing though. When you think about USA, you think, wow, everything is bigger, everything is better. They are the top, they are the #1 country. What I have come to realize is that once I got to experience it, I realized that I could help. If you want to say it in that way, I could help this sport to be a better play, to be a better sport. That I had something to offer, whether if it was at the beginning or if it was at the top. So, but yeah, you know what is the thing? The fear of uncertainty, the fear of what if, what if I don't do it right? What if um, I don't measure up? What if? Well, at least that was for me. Again, probably other people came ready and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna own the place and nobody's gonna stop me." I didn't. But that was me. Again,
This happened to me
oh yeah,
also. Mm.
yeah. But is like I said, what you are so impressed with the first world countries that a lot of times you build these things, these ideas in your head when in real life, in reality, they are not as frightening, they are not as scary as we make them be. So yeah, that's and like you say, you're right. I didn't mention in the Spanish interview, and that's what I like, that we are doing this interview in English, because other things come up in a way that they didn't show up in the first interview.
Yeah, you know why? Because when we share this, so many people think, what they talking in Spanish? We don't know what we talk about our problems in our countries, the difficult way we teach gymnastics. But now in English, we explain how difficult for us is joining a new culture with not our language and with all these uncertain things, because I am totally agree with you. This is the reason why Escuela del Sur born, because you like a Latin coach, you join in a new culture, gymnastic culture, and you need to demonstrate, are you enough good? Are you not enough? I can understand what you say in English. So it's
no,
amazing what you
true.
mentioned.
Yes. Yeah, is again, is you come and well, the other thing is also that when I started coaching in Guatemala, my idea was that I only had to coach to make every gymnast dream about the national team in Guatemala. And there are so many things that involve that process, and it is such a high expectation that um, sometimes you can make it happen, sometimes you're gonna make it happen, but there is no way you can make 100% of your gymnasts be 100% of the national team. That's just unrealistic. And when you come to this country, you realize that you have to build from the bottom up. So it gives you the opportunity to grow as you go, to learn as you go. Obviously, if you have the disposition and if you are humble enough to understand that in order to go all the way here, you have to start down here, and that helps. So that was part of my growth as well, of what made things easier or less hard for me to adapt, because I started with pre-teams and they started with compulsory. Yeah, I came with the idea of, oh yeah, I'm gonna be teaching this and that with this, but it wasn't like that. I needed a process. And when you understand and you accept that role and you accept your process, you grow easier and you grow better, and your the intimidation that you felt before, you don't feel it anymore, because you are creating, you are building something, and you are growing along um, with the program that you are with.
So Gerson have something to offer in the gymnastic culture in US,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
went there and you never thought, I will have a family, I will have a kid, I will be co-founder of a gym club in Atlanta. You never thought that in the beginning.
No. I mean, I came with the idea, I'm coming to coach and I'm coming to be a gymnastics coach. Yeah, and that was it. That was my vision. That was my purpose. In the process, I met my wife. We have a 13-year-old daughter. My wife has other kids on her own that I love, like if they are mine. Um, so total, we have 5 kids, and we have now 2 grandchildren. So it's just it's just beautiful. I can tell you that it is not all about gymnastics, but it is because of gymnastics that um, like you mentioned, I have experienced all of these beautiful things. Created my family. I am part owner of a gym here in Atlanta, which is Atlanta North Stars. I have other projects like Victory Gymnastics, and I have the Level Up Bars camp with my friend Jacobo, and a couple years ago we did a college-bound showcase camp with 2 other friends, Juan Pablo and Carlita Monterroso Bonilla. So, I mean, it's a lot of great things have happened in all this time that I have been here.
So yeah, we will go there in this
Yes.
next topics and next question about these incredible projects you have in gymnastics. But I keep in mind how amazing was your experience to join in this gymnastic culture with your Latin experience, like your beginning, like a coach in Guatemala.
Yes.
Look, I wanna ask you, tell me more about
Yes.
how is this gymnastic culture in US, and how you start to build this Atlanta North Star Gymnastic Club.
Okay. So, first of all, this is such a big country. You don't have many elite gymnasts. Um, you you don't even have over 125, let's say it, or let's put it 200. You're talking about a country with 350 million people, and only 200 gymnasts uh, can go to the level of competition for a spot in a national team. Um, See, what opens your eyes is that because this country is so big, there are so many different programs, and with those many different programs, there are many different options. You have the AAU, you have now the Excel, you have the compulsory gymnastics, and then you have the optional gymnastics. With all of that being said, the optional gymnastics or the programs with the USAG also gives you the opportunity to reach a spot as a collegiate gymnast. And there are about 60 programs in the country that have college gymnastics. And obviously you have your strong teams, the Georgia, UCLA, Oklahoma, Florida, Alabama, Nebraska, all those big schools. And then you have what they describe Division I, and you have what is Division II and Division III gymnastics. And they are scattered all around the country. You realize that I believe, Emilio, and this is not to burst anybody's bubble. I believe not everybody is born to be a national team member. I believe not everybody is born to be a collegiate gymnast. However, I also believe that every gymnast that we work with has the right to be coached as if they were going to be a national team member or a collegiate athlete. So based on that premise, you start changing your perspective, and also realize that it's not just about what you dream as a coach. It's about how you as a coach can use your abilities, your knowledge, your experience to help these girls go as far as they can go. And that's the thing. If you put it a name, a lot of times that expectation is too heavy to carry. That burden is too much to deal with. So I believe in going one step at a time and help every girl to go as far as they can go. I also believe in being honest and being truthful, that if a girl doesn't put 100% of effort, is not 100% present in practices. Oh, yes, life happens. They can get sick. They can have a little injury. They can, but again, what you can control as a gymnast is be always on time, be always present when you are in practice. What do I mean by being present? Well, you can have a gymnast that can come to practice 100% of the time, and instead of taking 25 turns in the whole practice, it will take 5. So that is not being present. That is just being there, but actually not being productive. They need to take an active role into reaching and achieving their goals. You cannot guarantee that there is a gymnast that will get a scholarship, but you still can work towards that goal, knowing that somebody else will make the decision for you, whether if you get one or not. And trying to help the girl understand that her worth is not determined or is not measured by being or not a good gymnast. Gymnastics is a beautiful sport. I also have right now an ex-gymnast that is one of the top divers in the University of Georgia. So I don't know if you know the word diving is paraclavados. So she's doing that in the University of Georgia right now. And I have a couple other girls that have stopped doing gymnastics and they have got a scholarship in what is called pole vaulting, salto con pértiga, con garrocha. So, I mean, gymnastics is a beautiful way to pave your way to other things. So, and because of all that has come the growth for me as a coach and for my gymnast, and that also that vision, that purpose, that goal has helped me to go and move and try to grow in the different area like you mentioned in Atlanta All Stars right now.